Huzzah! We live again.
August.
Welcome to the Lonesome Crowded Cast. I'm your host, DJ Middleway, Harley J, back again with a very special episode. One of our first music video reviews with one of the creators on the music video himself, Zach Storer. He is a prolific filmographer, cinematographer, photographer, and many means across many industries, film, television, and music videos. And he's come on with Modest Mouse to do Life's a Dream. And it's so exciting to be talking to you today, Zach.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. That very nice intro. It was quite a journey doing this music video, as you probably we've talked about it a little bit. But I'm sure there's lots of questions, and we can answer them today.
Look how far we've come since then,
Yeah.
right? It's been a long journey since you started doing things behind the camera till now. How
Yeah.
about you tell us a little bit about yourself as a person behind the camera from your origins till now?
It's been almost 20 years now. We lived in Los Angeles for a long time. We are from Arizona originally, back in Arizona now. But it's just like any other any other sort of creative thing where you start at the bottom of an industry and you work your way up. So that's kind of what I did. And you shoot a lot of stuff you don't want to shoot. Like I started pretty heavily in reality TV back when it was like real hot, like when reality TV was popping. You work your way into it. So it's just lots of travel, lots of hard work, lots of paying dues essentially to get where you want to be. And yeah, I mean, I sent you a credit list and some of the music videos you kind of have seen. I've been doing it quite a while. It's yeah, there's a lot going into it, but it's one of those, like, it's like if it were easy, everybody would do it, I guess. Or
Right.
So-
Some stuff that you've worked on in the credits list you mentioned recently: $1 Million Zombie Flip season 2, Yellowstone season 5, Oppenheimer. Whoa.
Yeah.
Basketball Wives season 10 on the reality TV side.
Yeah, it still creeps in there. Like it's like the one I'm doing now is reality, but I love home renovation because it's the best. It's so easy.
Oh, that's what
$1
Million Zombie Flips is.
Yeah, it's on Hulu and stuff. The home renovation is beautiful. It's great because it's like, yeah, it's fun, easy stuff. But yeah, it wasn't always that way in reality. It was like I did Kardashians for a long time, which actually wasn't too bad of a show. But there's some real doozies in that list too.
One of the things that stands out to me is the music video you worked on for Childish Gambino, who shares a birthday with me. Heartbeat.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really like that video.
Yeah, that video did pretty well too, I believe.
Oh yeah, one of your most popular from what I can see. And low key, if you changed the music in that video and made some of the shots moved around, could be a Modest Mouse music video to like Dramamine or something.
Yeah, it could. There's
lots of being in a car.
Work out that way, yeah.
Speaking of working in the industry for a while, you also co-directed this music video, Life's a Dream, with Rob himself of Jackass fame. Smash MC asks, what is it like working with Rob?
So I've known Rob a long time. Like he lived in LA same time as me, so we've been friends for almost, it seems like 15 years now. So Rob, if you're familiar with him from Jackass, or Viva La Bam, like he was like a wild animal, like drugs, alcohol. Like Rob's been sober now for almost 20 years.
Wow.
He got into the industry on like the other side, working, and so when he was starting and like not starting, but he was a camera assistant at the time. I was hiring him on all these shows to come and camera assist for me, mainly just because I thought he was so freaking funny, and him and I got along so well. Like the way we speak to each other and joke back and forth, it annoys everybody around us, but we really enjoy it. Like even Isaac was like, "You guys got to be stopped."
I saw some of that Notorious Jokesters stuff on the Bathroom Break podcast you did back in 2019.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's unchanged and like that 24/7. Whereas like everyone around us is like, you guys are insufferable, but we love it. So we always have just, I mean, but we were super close friends, like spending Thanksgivings together, and we babysat his daughter when she was born, and all of that stuff. So yeah, like very close, not just friends, but family friends. And it was just a band we both have been fans of for a very long time. So when this came around, I was like, I would like for him to be involved in this, if at all possible. And he lives back in Philly now, and so he was able to come out and do it. But I mean, for me, working with Rav is the best because we are very similar, like creatively, and we sort of are, both come from a camera background, but can direct things and know how to edit and all that stuff. So yeah, working with him and from my point of view is a breeze, and it's a lot of fun because our sense of humor haven't really progressed past 15 years old or some or so. So we're our that's kind of how we joke around with one another. And oh, Kevin just came in the room. I have my
Oh, so cute. Hello,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah, but yeah. So working with to answer that, yeah, Rab's a joy to work with. I don't think Isaac knew what to do with it. The way we joke around and speak to one another, basically from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep. Yeah,
Oh, it's like y'all
yeah,
are twin souls.
yeah, and we're the kind of people like we talk all the time, but if we haven't seen each other in a few years, we just pick right back up where we left off years ago. So yeah, it's the best. Yeah, it's fun.
It's that sort of beautiful friendship which brings some beautiful creative visions from ideas to screen. I really
Yeah,
liked how y'all came up with the imagery on this music video.
yeah, and a lot of that was like, we had a lot of it planned, but a lot of that stuff you see in there, which I'll kind of once we can go over, like
Mm-hmm.
we just came up with like it was like let's try this, let's try that, and that's kind of the fun of it. That's where Isaac was a lot of fun too, where it was like a lot of that stuff. A lot of it was pre-planned, but there's a large chunk of stuff where it was like we thought of it 5 minutes before, shot it, and it ended up in the music video. So
Wow. Puzzle Bombs in particular wanted to know how you got Life's Dream specifically, as opposed to any of the other tracks.
what's up, Puzzle Bombs? That one, it was basically Isaac was like, he came to me and was like, I have this track. This is what I want to do. This is the
Mm-hmm.
track I want to do. And so I was like, okay, send me the track. And it was tricky though, because he's instead of sending me the track, he just sent me the entire album at the time. I think that was like February. So
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the track and I love the track, but I also heard the rest of the album. And I'm like, but this would be cool to do, or this would be cool to do. So he should have just sent me the track at the time, so I could
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, I listened to all 15 tracks and I was like, oh, this is amazing. We could do this with this or this with this. But ultimately, I think yeah, it was a good choice and it was what he wanted to do, and we started working on that immediately. And the idea evolved quite a bit from what it started, like what Isaac's initial thoughts of what he wanted to do for the video versus what was manageable versus what we had time to do. And yeah, I can tell you a little bit about that too when we get to it, like how the video changed.
For sure. I'm excited
Yeah,
to hear more on that. We're going to be taking things frame by frame here, so if you want to, while
yeah,
listening
that's
to the
fine.
podcast, open up a music video and scrub through with us at home. Or I might have a video version up that you can check out on YouTube that you may be watching right now and seeing Kevin make a cameo appearance, the Sphinx Cat.
Oh yeah,
So
he's a
cute.
bambino, so he's a sphinx and he's a munchkin. He's a short-legged.
Aww.
Got short legs and he's hairless, but yeah, he's a baby. He thinks he's a baby, as you can.
Forever
And
baby.
I have him tattooed on my arm right there. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's who that is. So cute.
yep,
And there's
yep.
plenty of babies in this video with the masks and whatnot. I'm excited to get to
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah, lots of it.
Mm-hmm. So the music video takes an interesting direction as it opens up on a ukulele rendition of the song Auld Lang Syne, which should all acquaintance be forgot, times long past, days gone, for old time's sake. A song frequently heard as the year closes and a new chapter begins. It's a huge tone setter for the song, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, and what's very cool about it is it was not planned at all whatsoever. I'd never heard of Dave, the man playing ukulele. I'd
Mm-hmm.
never. I now I know him and Isaac are dear, dear, dear friends, and we had all these vignettes set aside. Babies making a mess, or somebody getting out of bed, or whatever. And day of this nice old man shows up with a ukulele, and Isaac's like, "This is going to be the intro of the video," and it was not something I'd heard of at all. Dave is a very, very dear friend of Isaac, so I could tell it was just very obvious right away that it meant a lot to Isaac, and it was something that he wanted to get in there. It was but in some sort of way. So
Mm-hmm.
we just improvised and put Dave up there and had him play Auld Lang Syne, and I wasn't quite sure how it was going to edit in or work or how we were going to make it
Mm-hmm.
flow from that to the music video, but we did it, and I agree, it was a huge tone setter, and it worked really, really well because it was unplanned element. Didn't know how I was going to edit, didn't know how it was going to work, but
Mm-hmm.
like just a great example of like an idea Isaac had in his head, like he saw it and knew it was there, and it ended up working really well, and I think it was great. and Dave is like, hopefully you can talk to Isaac eventually, but
Mm-hmm.
like I'll leave it to Isaac to tell Dave's life story. It's like unbelievable,
Oh, I cannot wait to
unbelievable,
hear.
unbelievable. But it was really interesting, really cool guy. I think it was, once we figured out how to edit it and make it flow together, yeah, perfect, perfect, really good.
I think the Odd Lang Syne, I'm curious to pick David and Isaac's brain about that. Particular about how like the song choice in particular, considering it's like a song of memory and remembering the past, reflecting on it, especially since like a lot of the tones and the lyrics of the song are very like heavily influenced about like imagination and dreams and non-linear time scale
Right.
thinking. And speaking of non-linearly, we're going to back up just a few frames. The video actually opens on one of the puppets that came on the cruise, designed by Sir
Mm-hmm.
Nathaniel Beckett. It's this blue
Mm-hmm.
sparkling tassel creature wandering through the woods, accompanied by the wind chimes you hear at the end of the Life's a Dream song. Giving it some good looping opportunity if you find some sort of YouTube video looper and just like have that go on a endless loop. This puppet is being operated by co-director Rob himself, right?
Mm-hmm. And it was hilarious. It was really funny. Because those things are 13 feet tall. We had a red one too.
Wow.
Um, but they're so complex that we didn't know how to put them together. So I forget the gentleman's name that made them.
Nathaniel Beckett.
Um, yeah, he had, I believe, to send Isaac like a tutorial video how to put them together. And then Christian, who works for Ice Cream Party and Isaac, spent hours in the horse stable at Isaac's property putting them together, like watching the video, putting them together. And it's this huge backpack you have to wear, like hiking backpack, big
Mm-hmm.
battery pack.
Wow.
And it was one of those things we didn't write. We had no plan, and it had gotten dark, and we had all this great lighting and lighting equipment and this a great camera, obviously. And we went into the woods on his property, and we're like, okay, let's just like it wasn't something we wrote. It was just like, let's go do this. Um, I believe we'd been drinking a few beers by this point, so we're like,
Mm-hmm.
let's fucking do this. Can I cuss?
Oh, please, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Modest Mouse has plenty of cursing in
Um,
the song, in their
right.
songs. I
So
can't avoid.
I didn't want to like demonetize you if that what you're trying to do, but
I don't
okay.
get
So
any money
so
from this
we
podcast.
okay. You might eventually.
Night.
Don't give up. But we went out right behind where the arena was we were filming and just kind of found this road, and we put Rab in it. It was really heavy and his arms were getting tired. It was hysterical watching Rab trying to like operate this thing and move around, and we were having a good time with that. But it was one of those things. Yeah, we just got a bunch of footage of it. Like it has lights built into it, so we turned the lights on, then we did a pass with the lights off, and we were lighting the woods, with lighting equipment to kind of like rake light, make it kind of look like moonlight as best we could, or kind of trippy, weird looking. Um, but I know it was like a whole thing. Like it was a multi-hour process getting those put together properly, just because it was so tricky to put them together. But I'm glad we did. It ended up being like a cool thing we could cut to throughout the video quite a bit.
He's almost like a representation of like a dream god or something.
Yeah, it's like off-putting, but also
Mm.
very cool and like pretty and
Mm.
yeah, I liked it. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad we went and toyed with it and shot it because yeah, it became like a very useful element for us. And the work was worth the work getting it up and going out and shooting it and stuff was definitely worthwhile in the end, because a lot of times you do stuff like that and you're like, nah, it doesn't work,
Mm-hmm.
scrap it, doesn't make it in the edit. So it feels good when you make somebody work for a few hours learning how to put it together. And I know Isaac really wanted to use them, and yeah, it feels good to execute it and go, oh, that worked great, we can
Pays
use it.
off.
It wasn't all for nothing. Yeah, a bunch of people didn't work hard for no reason.
Absolutely, good to hear. And you mentioned a horse stable. Is that where y'all film like the shots, like in that interior space with the projector and the trailer?
That was the arena. So there's a horse arena next to a horse stable, like
Okay.
beautiful horse, a big horse stable. So that was that was just good property that we had that we didn't need permits for. We didn't need we could kind of do what we wanted. We didn't have time limits. We could shoot
Mm-hmm.
as early or as late as we wanted, and we had as much space as we needed. So um, yeah, the that was kind of the home base around all of the stuff that wasn't at the studio, the ice cream party studio. Was yeah, that's we kind of shot all of that. All of that stuff was like within 100 yards of that horse arena, like the stuff in the woods or the stuff in the field with the ghosts or the pond or all that stuff was kind of all, it was like a home base. We could play and shoot multiple spots pretty quickly and easily.
Then it follows up to the next shot. Is a very important member of not just the film crew, but the capybara crew, behind the scenes documentarian, and talent wrangler, also starring in this video, your partner, Mychal Storer.
Correct. Yep. Um, she it was pretty funny because she came up to like just be like a ghost under the sheets and like
Mm-hmm.
hang out and help and be a hand wherever we needed. And then we were like maybe 5 minutes from like doing the bed stuff, and they were setting it up on the thing, and we're like, okay, who do we have amongst all these extras that we should make the person in the bed? And then Isaac was basically just like, it's gonna be you, and told Mychal like, it needs to be you. You need to do it. So she was like, okay, and then it ended. So it was another one of those, like, we had it planned, but who it was gonna be was chosen like right at the end.
That's really funny. I like how Isaac and you were able to think very on the fly and make some things happen like very quickly and rapidly. But
That's half the fun, I feel like.
speaking of talent wrangling, how was casting done for the music video by her?
Well, she didn't necessarily cast it as much as like she helped us sort of move things along throughout the
Mm-hmm.
day, where it was like, okay, we need this person now, so let's make sure they're dressed for this. Or a lot of the casting, a lot of the characters you see are longtime friends of like Isaac in the group and stuff. A guy named Matt Brown, who's the guy in the suit
Mm-hmm.
with the curly gray hair, and he's also like in there a couple times wearing masks. So it was a lot of his friends and people
Mm-hmm.
that had come. And I think the only person we technically cast was the older lady in the wedding dress. That was one of the few people that we actually cast from like a company that had come out, and like we had to fit her for the wedding dress and stuff like that. But everyone else, longtime friends and characters that we brought out and stuff like that. So we had all these vignettes planned, like
Mm-hmm.
what we were gonna do. But leading into it, as we were setting it up, we're like, okay, we have 12 people here. Who do we want to put in this? And Isaac was sort of choose like, okay, let's put him here and him here. So get him dressed in this. And we knew we had people to use. We just didn't know who was going to be what until we got like closer to shooting it.
Right. Wow, cool. And then we have the two ghosts that are accompanied by Isaac walking through the field in his beekeeper suit. Ghosts have a particular frequency in the imagery of the album's promotional material. The white of the beekeeper suit also gives us this ghostly vibe to Isaac as well. Are dreams a precipice of life and death? The world in between?
So first, the beekeeper suit is not Isaac. In fact,
Oh, it's another person.
no. No, it's actually my buddy Matt, who is the gaffer on the music video. So
Oh,
he did the
cool.
lighting, and he also is working on the TV show I'm on. Isaac was actually the one to put him in the beekeeping suit. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my buddy Matt, he was the one that did the backflip and all that. But yeah, his
Oh,
first
okay.
appearance is that. So and the ghost seems very reoccurring, and that was just something that Isaac had brought up to me early on, where he's like, I want to use this theme, and I really like the pastel colored sheets for the ghosts, where it's kind of like these hokey Halloween ghosts, but instead of them just being white, we find these weird kind of pastel color sheets and display them throughout. So yeah, that was also just definitely another Isaac element. And as far as like the beekeeper walking through and like spraying the smoke and stuff, again, another element that was just thrown in there, like something we thought of at the time, and we're like, this would be cool, let's try it, and it ended up working. So it wasn't something, initially it was just the ghosts, and then the beekeeper stuff came about where we were like, okay, let's do that, and it worked out. So I mean, it depends on how you interpret the song, but it's one of those, like, the lines can sometimes be crossed between living and death, and awake and asleep, and dreaming, and also it's just a Modest Mouse music video, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fun to make weird and somewhat difficult to interpret, and or you interpret how you want it. But yeah, I really like that stuff in that setting where we're at sunset with the ghosts in the tree orchard. Some of my favorite stuff of it. And yeah, that was the
Sunset
first.
is so beautifully used like throughout the video. Even with the shots with the band playing, it's very like you can see the sun dripping into Ice Cream Party and setting this very
Yeah,
beautiful like coloring and lighting effect.
yeah, that's one thing I'm very cognizant of, because I've just been a director of photography for a very long time now, where it's like anybody that does that is very cognizant of like golden hour, which is when we
Mm-hmm.
were shooting outside, or like what the light is going to be like the next day when you're shooting, or like, if we shoot it here and we have their backs to this angle, what's the light going to do if it's coming in this way, or how can we counter it with lights that we have and all that stuff. So that was definitely like a huge thing myself and the gaffer and Rab, and it was something we were always thinking about. We're like, we had a timer going. Okay, we knew the first day we got there, we timed out when the sunset got really beautiful, and we're like, okay, this is, and then timed it out exactly. We have 45 minutes of really great gold sunlight, and then it's gone. And so we knew, every single day what time it was going to happen, what time it was going to end, and we kind of tried to clear our schedule so that we knew when that happened we could go out and shoot, things like Rex, like, looking real beautiful in his gold jacket out in the sunset, or yes, all that stuff. So we tried to time all that stuff out as much as we possibly could, because
Rex
you
being
don't.
Rex Marshall of Mattress, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
Yep. Yep.
man,
Yep.
is his suit like have like sequin like that, or is reflective on it? Like what's?
I think his jacket might be sequins, or it's
Mm-hmm.
just like a shiny gold. He has like some shiny, really cool pants and
Mm-hmm.
shiny shoes and stuff, and he just had it ready to go. Like, we had invited him out to shoot. We just knew we had to use him somehow. I tried to use him way more than I was allowed to use Final Cut, but yeah, it was, yeah. We If you're a Modest Mouse fan and you've been to shows in the last 5 years, you know who Rex is.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see him perform. His music's so fun.
Yeah.
He has
So,
a very cool stage presence for anyone who's missed out on it so far.
and
Um,
he's just like the funniest dude on the planet. So we knew we had to have him out there to play
mhm.
with us.
Speaking of tangents, Modest Mouse related for a second here to go on another one. What's your Modest Mouse like origins and you being a fan to working with them professionally?
I had come across their music pretty early in my life. They'd been a
Mm-hmm.
band for quite a while, but it was probably like 2001 or so, maybe earlier than that. And it was just a band that I was shown and was just listening to and really liked, and just something I was always into, and started going to shows pretty early, like early 2000s and stuff. And then, I'd met my wife now, who in 2004 in high school, and she, we were playing the, I'll make you a mix CD game, and I was giving her, Modest Mouse mix burned CDs and stuff. And then we were going to shows together, and it's just been one of those things, like, we've just always been fans of the music. And then it just sort of so happened, like, my career led where it was. And I was telling Isaac, like, I don't think, like, in my 20s I could have pulled this off. I've been doing this long enough now where it's like I'm able to sort of work with anybody, whereas, like, in my 20s it probably would have been too overwhelming for me to, like, direct something with him, where it was like I was such a fan. And there's, like, a certain element of, like, directing where it's like, okay, you guys, you're probably going to argue a little bit, and you got to, like, push back on each other a little bit. And I just don't think I would have been in the headspace to, like, direct for Isaac Brock in, like, my 20s, or maybe even in my early 30s. So the fact that it happened now was, like, a really good thing, because it was like I've been around long enough, doing this long enough
Mm-hmm.
in this industry, where it's like I was in a place that I actually could accomplish that, where I wasn't, like, that upset if he was pissed at me, or like, stuff like that, like stuff that would have crumbled me in my 20s. I was able to go, okay, he's pissed at me, but we still have to finish this, or whatever it is, or he's annoyed at me, or he doesn't want to talk to me right now, or whatever. So, I mean, yeah, well, I'm definitely a huge longtime fan, obviously, and been to like dozens of shows at this point. And was introduced to Isaac through, James, one of his best friends, James Joyner, is
Mm-hmm.
a great photographer, quite a while back, and that's sort of what led to, all this happening over a long period of time. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been well over 20 years now, 25 years maybe. Yeah, long time.
Wowzer. That's a quite an epic tale, which I'm
Yeah,
excited to like see that people that have been like dedicated to the band for so long are like making art for them now.
yeah,
Speaking of
it's cool.
being dedicated to your job here, we move on to the next shot of two workers working at near identical desks, one younger, one older, who, upon a few listens of the song, repeated this coming and going theme of the song. Life's a dream, you wake up, go back to sleep, you wake up. Are these guys the same person?
Theoretically, no, they're not. This was a vignette that we wrote that
Okay.
Isaac had brought up, where he was like, I just want it to be a loop. I want it to be, it looks like these guys are maybe done with work,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting up to leave, and in reality they're just getting up and switching, and it's just,
Ah.
it's mundane, it's cyclical,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like we all feel like a lot of people can sort of identify with that, especially people that, maybe particularly work in an office, where it's like,
Mm.
it's just that. So that was
Yeah.
kind of what I think we were trying to get across in that. I never felt like we were trying to convey like these were the two of the same dudes. It was just very much like two different people,
Mm.
you know, Are they done with work? Nope. They're just switching desks and continuing work, and then it just goes on like that for forever potentially.
Some people work
And I
the
think it
same
came
job
across
their
pretty.
whole lives, and like from the
Yeah.
being young to old and retired. Um,
Yep.
or I wonder if Isaac can feel that about that or relate, since he's doing Modest Mouse since he was a teenager.
I mean, there's probably a lot of elements. I'm sure he feels that way. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
luckily with music, it's just like nothing's ever the same, or it doesn't need to be the same. It can always be different, but definitely the operation that he runs is pretty large now at this point. I'm sure it can feel very cyclical. Any job, no matter how cool it looks to outsiders, is a job
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. So yeah, I'm sure he feels that way. Even what he does too. When we were writing these vignettes, that was kind of the theme. Kind of a dreamy, weird setting, but a
Mm-hmm.
mundane sort of almost everyday occurrence, like something like working in an office and stuff. And Matt Brown and Jesse, the other
Yes.
actors, I feel like they did a really good job at letting us shoot it and conveying like what we were trying to convey with that.
I really
It
like the
definitely,
sequences that they're on.
yeah, me too.
The next shot here is a child holding a salamander, because of course we got to get those psychic salamander vibes back on.
Yeah,
Do you know what kind of salamander that was specifically?
those are roughneck or rough skin newts,
Rough skin newts.
and they do carry a toxin, but they're not unsafe. Luckily, we have a resident, basically zoologist, with us who's now here with us. Hey,
Hi,
um,
Mychal.
and we know the rules. You don't touch an animal and touch your eyes or touch your mouth or,
Mm-hmm.
God forbid, lick them or try to eat them or anything like that. So even when we're handling them, it's touch and then wash your hands and be careful and respect the animals and put them back where they came from. And Isaac has a really cool pond, and
Oh,
it
that's
is just full of really beautiful little newts. A lot of times when it rains, they'll come out of it and get confused and get stuck up in the grass, and to keep them from getting swooped up by hawks and birds and stuff, you'll just pick them up in the grass and go put them back in the water and make sure that they're. So that was kind of how we were coming across them and taking shots of them. Would not go well for you if you tried to eat it or lick it, but otherwise, if you're just touching them with your hand, you're okay. And if you can tell if they're not feeling threatened, they do a really funny thing where they kind of do this thing with their body, and they're not really secreting toxins unless they're feeling
mm-hmm.
threatened. These guys were pretty chill, and you can smell when they let go of a toxin, and
Right.
it wasn't very smelly, but we were just enjoying catching them. It was all again one of those things we didn't have written,
Mm-hmm.
but we were just having so much fun, like looking at them swim and moving them back into the water when they needed a little help and stuff. That we were like, we should get some shots. So we took Isaac's youngest, and I was like, hey, show me what you have, and she came and held it out and showed me what she had in her hand, and we got like a cool shot of her holding that newt, and she did indeed wash her hands, and everybody
Mm-hmm.
survived.
So
Newt
that's
included.
Isaac's kid in the music video riding those ATVs and stuff.
Correct. It's footage of both of them. Initially, it was the younger one, and the older one was pissed that the younger one had made the cut, and she hadn't, because I think she was gone at like a science camp that day when we were filming that first day. So her footage came later when Isaac went and filmed stuff on his iPhone of her, and her on like the motorcycle and the little electric bike and stuff. So we added that in so that we didn't want anyone to feel left out. So we got the footage of the younger one and then added the older one in later, and it all worked out. So those are Isaac's girls.
That's very cool. And
Yeah,
taking a moment to tangent again about more animals, since Mychal's here with you, y'all both run an animal sanctuary in Arizona.
we do, and she has.
I have a snake with me right now.
Wow! So
Which
cool. Who is the
is pretty normal
snake?
for our house.
I always take someone out so I can give them some
This was
socialization.
this was one just given
Aw.
to us, right?
Yeah, this is a red-tailed boa. They're constrictors. They're from South America.
So beautiful.
This is a really cool, and this is a pretty small version of what he's
Very
going to
active
become.
right now. Actually, they get 8 to 10 feet long, full grown.
Wow.
This is a juvenile.
But he was really little when we got him. He
Yeah.
was like maybe that long, so he's grown quite a bit. He's always got a good appetite. Yeah, he is active right
Yeah,
now.
he's very, very active right now.
This is such a trippy experience watching him move around. It's like your arm's
Hello.
a tree, and he's so adapted to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been being handled pretty regularly since he was a baby, so
Well, I'm
it's
trying
not
to.
it's not like out of the
Yes.
ordinary for him to be honest. He's very used to us and how we smell and all
He
that
has
stuff.
a little mustache.
Oh.
Yeah, show him the mustache.
Oh,
His
that is
mustache?
so cute! Gotta get that monocle and top hat on him, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a great mustache.
Indubitably. How did y'all get into taking care of exotic animals?
I've always been obsessed with animals.
Yeah.
Zach has always been an animal lover, but I got accepted into this docent program with the Los Angeles Zoo,
Mm-hmm.
and I started working and learning more about, zoo animals and exotics. And then I worked with the program that was an educational outreach type of thing for schools in the area. So it kind of just kept growing from there. So
That's
kind of
really
created our own
beautiful.
thing.
And
Yeah.
yeah, now it's turned into our house is full of.
There's an animal in almost every room in our house.
That's so sweet.
So
But
And this is
we
Animal
like.
People
not in a
AZ.
hoarder way.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and this is.
Yeah, this is Gary. We my exchange student, because we do exchange students too, or we
Mhm.
host kids from all over the world. She named him Gary after the snake in Zootopia.
Oh yeah, Gary, and that movie was so beautiful. I love the message in it,
Yeah, I love that movie.
and it's so wonderful getting to see so many different animals and like how like they're accurately represented in their environment, but kind of
Yeah, they're pretty
anthropomorphized.
good.
Did y'all like
Yeah.
Hoppers?
I watched it. You didn't watch
I've
it
not
yet.
seen it yet.
I liked it. I think it's cute. It had a great message, but I think it kind of just goes over kids' heads to comprehend what's actually going on.
A wee bit.
Maybe for an older audience. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, because it's all about this like cities and pollution and taking wildlife home away and stuff like that. So
Build in a desert. Um, And Mychal, since you're here with us right now, how was the experience of getting in and out of that bed over and over again for the video?
So it wasn't I initially planned for me to be that person. It kind of
Mhm.
just happened. I was just happy to be a part of it. In the tree part scene where the
Right.
beekeeper is, I'm the person in the yellow sheet
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Right.
So I just planned to do that. So the bed person kind of just happened. But it was fun. It was interesting because there's not Zach's always been a camera operator, so there's only been a few times where I've been in something that he's filming.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. But I have Rab's voice in my head when I watch it telling me, because he was helping direct me, like, all right, go to bed, get up, start over.
Yeah,
Go to
we were
bed,
giving her
get up.
commands off
I had to
camera,
have
so
the,
we were.
the commands because I was closing my eyes, so I can't
Mhm.
see anyone. It was a lot of fun. I thought it was interesting.
I really liked like the very like fine details that were put into it. Especially the behind the scenes video that you did. You synced it up to the song, which I was really impressed by.
I tried. I'm not as great as he would be, obviously, but I think it's pretty decent because I learned from this guy right here. So
I
Talent
honestly,
trails.
it's like I didn't know she was. Like I saw her filming the whole time, and we were all kind of filming video every so often, and put it together, and she had it all, but I didn't know she was going to edit what she did, so it kind of surprised me. But it's really impressive. It came out really fun, and it's just like a cool thing to have, and a cool thing to like share with like the fan group and stuff like that. That people that like the video can kind of see like some of the behind the scenes stuff or the studio. I know everybody likes to see the studio and all that fun stuff. So
the
yeah,
whole process of it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I can only imagine like being able to tour Ice Cream Party as well. That's another neat element on the behind the scenes video that Ice Cream Party people can enjoy. Being able to see all the tchotchkes and pedals and other instruments. What's
Oh man.
what's one of y'all's favorite parts of being in the Ice Cream Party studio?
Mm. It's so full of stuff. It's just like we had seen it in video before we'd been there in person, and I feel like you
Mhm.
get like a really small feel for what it's like in the video, and then you go there in person, you're like, holy crap, this place is just every little corner.
It's like not a toy store, but like when you go to a museum and you're just so excited. And
Every little corner is just filled with shit, and it's just like
I think I guess one of my favorite parts is seeing all the pedals in the elevator.
Wow.
yeah, and there's like they have like a nice kitchen, and there's like a bathroom with like a shower, and areas where you could sleep there if you need to, or like there's just shit everywhere, and it's just cool stuff. It's just like interesting. Like there's just plants and cool old, even like there's like just cool old light bulb collections where you just see like the craziest looking light bulbs you've ever seen, and like
I like that the plants there are all living plants. They're not artificial. So
Yeah,
I think they have like grow light bulbs all
yeah,
around.
they have
So
like all their overhead lights are these really expensive, like multi-spectrum LEDs, and all these plants are healthy and taken care of. And I mean, there's all kinds of little bedrooms that you don't even see on videos where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, there's this room's full of this, or this room's full of this, or it's just yeah, it's just it's a cool place. There's just cool shit everywhere. Just cool art, cool books, cool records, cool little tchotchkes everywhere. Cool. It's just
you can be entertained for days, basically.
you could go through. You could file through that place for a week, and you'd still feel like you don't know what's in there because there's just so much cool stuff. It's just yeah, it's just a fun place. Initially, we were going to shoot the performance part of the music video in the basement area where they do all the recording and rehearsing,
Right.
and they have that nice area up top where we shot, and we kind of had calculated like, okay, it should be nice and backlit at this time, and stuff, and the guys that work there like full time, like Ryan, that you guys know Ryan, and then Christian, like they had kind of set everything up upstairs, and it looked really nice. And I'm really glad we ended up shooting up there because it worked really well for the video. And it was, but that I mean just that area is just a segment of the upstairs, and then there's a whole downstairs, there's a whole loft. It's crazy. It's a huge place.
That's
I think it's like 8,000 square feet or something. It's
wow.
huge. Yeah,
I've-
it's huge.
I can't wait to see more of it eventually one day. We then cut to the ATV where the nose masks people are driving on. Those nose masks are so uncanny. What's the deal with all of those nose masks? Are they modeled after someone's nose in particular?
I think they'll use them a lot in like theater, like training and stuff, where they'll like, or like improvisational training or stuff like that. Like those are, I think, masks sort of like that are weird and off-putting shapes. So use those for that kind of stuff. But Isaac has like a crazy collection of masks, like boxes and boxes and boxes of masks. And those were just ones that we picked out. Where we're like, yeah, these feel kind of odd. And the ATV thing was like another one of those things where like we were out shooting the monster, the 13-foot monster in the woods, and Isaac's like, oh, I want to drive my gator down, and we're in these masks, and it was one of those things like we just made up last minute. Didn't know if it would work. We did it a bunch of times. It was just a fun thing to use. I mean, I think he was on the fence a lot with the masks initially because he was like, I want the video to kind of feel like the song is, but I don't want to make it too wacky and weird. And we shot a lot of stuff not knowing if we'd use it because maybe it would read too wacky and weird on camera or in the edit. And it just worked really well, and Isaac liked it. But those masks are off-putting for sure, and we use them quite a bit in the video, which was
the mask of Isaac's face too, right?
Oh yeah,
that's
the
Isaac's
nightmare.
face.
Yeah, that's Isaac's face.
Oh wow!
And he has a whole box of those too, a whole box. And I know he's got like a company that makes those for him and stuff, and they look like a nightmare in real life. Yeah, we use those quite a bit too. Like you see those quite a bit. And, I mean, he's just got a pretty big mask collection. That's a good example of just like shit you find at ice cream parties. Just like a box full of masks, like tons and tons and tons of masks. And those were just ones that we picked out and kind of were like, these would be good. Some of the masks were indeed too weird, like a little too on the nose for like, oh, this is too wacky. And I feel like those the ones in the 4x4 were like a good middle ground, kind of,
right.
Believe it or not.
The fox mask is probably one of the more normal masks, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about like who's behind the mask and like the origins of the shots and what's happening in those.
The fox mask, that was Rab himself.
Oh, cool.
And again, it was one of those like we had 5 minutes and 30 seconds to fill for the music video, which is a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of editing to do. That's a lot of filming to do. So like anytime we were like shooting those vignettes on the parade float, we had a big chunk of time in between while they were redressing it and stuff. So our goal was like, okay, let's set up the trampoline in the woods and have people jump on the trampoline, or like anything we could do to like fit, like anytime we had those little open spaces of time, go film stuff. So again, it was just one of those like, what could we do? Let's use these masks. Isaac has all these fun like toy bow and arrows out there, and it was just one of those. We went out into the woods behind where we were filming and started filming and shooting with it. It was one of the many things that we kind of shot where it was like, we don't know if Isaac's going to like this because he wandered off somewhere. We have no idea where he went. So we're just going to go shoot something. And if he likes it, we'll use it. If he doesn't like it, we won't use it. And it was one of the things where he's like, oh, I really like this, especially prey animal becomes like the the hunter type thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of obviously the masks are just can be off-putting. So it is kind of weird feeling to just see like a dude in a normal purple T-shirt with a fox mask and bow and arrow. So we were just out messing around and shooting stuff. We have this like amazing, $150,000 camera rig to play with, and might as well use it as much as we possibly can and get as much footage as we possibly can. And that's kind of what we did.
And I
And it
noticed
ended up.
that one of the shirt that the fox mask is wearing is "Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit," which is a Dave Hill design, right?
Yeah, and Rab is and Dave Hill are buddies, and Rab's a huge Dave Hill fan and likes his music and comedy, and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna wear this, and I'll let Dave know and make sure it's okay." And then I think from what I hear, Dave Hill's pretty happy about it
I
or
got
okay with it.
introduced to Dave Hill because of this song, so I'm
Yeah, he's really really funny, really really funny guy. And I know Rab's a huge fan, and I like Dave Hill. I think he's hilarious. So, and I'd asked him initially when we started, I'm like, "You think Dave will be fine with you just like having this shirt on?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think you'll like it." Isaac liked it, so we used it. Dave Hill was happy with it, so we used it, and it ended up being the thumbnail of the whole video too. So, kind of funny.
cool.
So yeah, the Dave Hill thing pushed through, and I'm glad because yeah, Dave Hill's great. He's hysterically fucking funny. So
Definitely check them out,
but
audience,
yeah,
if you haven't gotten the chance to listen to Dave
yeah,
Hill yet. Um,
for sure you should.
Another question about the bees you may see behind me. A lot of
Right.
beekeeping Isaac does, and it's this very like
Mm.
actual bee science like implemented into this video that you see with the smoke and whatnot.
Yeah, he
But
knows a lot about it.
what were the inspiration for the color choices for this pink, blue, and yellow bee clump here?
Initially, when I had started color correcting the video,
Mm-hmm.
Isaac was kind of sending me examples of just things that he liked. He liked specific textures, specific colors, specific whatever, and this sort of like purplish, pinkish fuchsia color was one that stuck out, and the yellow stuck out, and like the teal blue stuck out. Um, and yeah, we'd had an extra camera roving around. My buddy John, who's also in the video in parts and was like one of our camera operators, um, had brought a camera body and some really cool long lenses. And again, when we had time in between setups, we were like, okay, let's go out and start shooting stuff. And right outside where we were shooting were all these bee
Mm-hmm.
boxes where Isaac, gives bees, a place to live, and they make cool hives and honeycombs and all this fun stuff, and he feeds them and takes care of them. So if you like crack these open or he feeds them at a certain time, you have all these bees sort of gathered around the outside. So John is a brave guy, and these bees are all pretty calm and they don't really mess with you, so you can get pretty close to them and film with them. And we filmed a bunch of just I guess B-roll, no pun intended, um, of the bees. And it, and Isaac really liked these like boxes, like some of the
Mm-hmm.
examples, like where it was like show this with a box and this, and we were trying to find more ways to incorporate it. And this was, we felt like a cool way to do it, and we started playing with the color of it and liked it, and that's kind of how it ended up turning out. It was just like we had all these cool bee boxes available, and it's
Mm-hmm.
something Isaac's really interested in and be very good at and super knowledgeable, and he's got all this cool equipment, and we were like, we should, it seems like a waste to not incorporate it, especially sort of add some natural elements to the video, because that's definitely like a big part of Isaac's life is nature and natural elements, and fungi and
Mm-hmm.
plants, bees. And like the first day I went to Isaac's house, we spent like an hour just spreading wildflower seeds around where all the bees are, so just pollinating flowers, so
Lovely.
that eventually they grow and the bees can pollinate and eat and all that stuff. So
Mm.
he does a lot to take care of them and make sure they're comfortable and make sure they're stuff like that. And we just thought it'd be cool to use it. We basically melded it with the idea of what colors he liked and what sort of design elements he liked, and that was just something we threw in that we thought was cool.
Speaking of stuff that Isaac wears in this music video, he you can see one of the Modest Mouse fungi crew necks going on, and that was I'm so excited to see anything Modest Mouse apparel related. Do y'all have a particular favorite Modest Mouse shirt or piece of merch that y'all like to wear?
Oh, I feel like we have so much now.
Mm-hmm.
I like the button up that I got from Ice Cream Party with all the skulls on it and stuff. Like that's cool. And
I like all the Florida themed apparel, even though I didn't go to any of the Florida shows or the
on the cruise.
cruise.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I thought I grabbed a long sleeve while I was visiting. because I thought those were super cool. So that's my favorite right now.
Yeah, they have like a entire like giant clothing rack of just like, oh, take some of the clothes you want. And we were picking through a bunch of it, and
Picking dragons'
some of that
pockets.
yeah, some of that stuff was there. So we were picking out clothes we liked, and yeah, there's tons of that. So, but we have, we have modest amount stuff that's 20 years old, damn near now.
Yeah.
Like where we have like T-shirts where it's like,
Is that one of James's photos back there?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I like that one. That's a good one. You
Yeah.
have some stills that you've taken.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, there's some really cool merch and stuff. But yeah, I feel like every time Isaac would disappear for a little bit, he would come back in a different outfit of some sort. Like he would go and just change repeatedly, where he'd be like in a jumpsuit, or then he'd be in a bee suit, or he'd be in some like weird shorts, or then he'd be like, it was just always something.
That man is
So
a
like,
man of many costumes.
yeah, he changed quite a bit just in the course of that day, or
They were matching one day, but then he turned
Yeah.
his sweater inside out.
Isaac wasn't happy that
We
were
have a
matching.
photo of
He was
that.
ashamed of me, so he changed. Yeah.
The trailer, I wanted to talk a little bit more about that. It's bedazzled with this like watermelon-esque color scheme. What is that material?
Um, so when Isaac was starting to send some like example photos, he was sending like these floats that were kind of like modeled after kind of like these like hokey like high school parade
Mm-hmm.
floats where like they dress them with streamers and all this stuff. And what's funny is like one of the example photos he sent or that I was given, we were able to trace to an actual company that made the exact ones.
Oh wow.
So we found this company and we're like, they had a bunch, and essentially they sell them to like, they sell these like certain colorways so that you can match with like high school colors or whatever. So you can like, do, small town parades or high school homecoming parades or whatever. And we just ordered some kits. And initially I had shown him like, these are the color options. What do you like? And he liked the red and green. And we had ordered another one, but for some reason they had shipped it wrong to us. So we only had the red and green, and then we were able to buy streamers like from somewhere else and change colors in between setups and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like these kits essentially that were made for like flatbeds, like we had. So yeah, that was kind of the I'd taken some of the example like inspiration photographs I was given, and we were like, okay, we can actually buy these exact ones, which was great because we did some footage of the float road empty rolling around like some of the areas in the streets of Portland, driving past ghosts and stuff.
Right.
And I knew we were going to do like the projector screen things and shoot it like parallel from the side. So yeah, it worked out. It was kind of meant to be kind of like a float, but not what we had time for, what we had budget for, and kind of the overall feel I felt was like that kind of like those like kind of sparsely decorated hokey kind of like high school homecoming parade flatbeds with like the shiny tinsel and stuff like that.
When it came to having to vacuum the fairy dust that the babyface Isaac and the other babyface person were doing, was that an artistic choice or a practical choice? Because that tassel looks hard to clean.
It evolved. It was there was actually a red rug down,
Mm-hmm.
so they were throwing on the rug,
And it was coffee grounds
and confetti. Initially, it was going to be an adult and two actual children doing it, and the kind of the vignette was like that cyclical, like the adults tired and stressed and cleaning, while the kids simultaneously destroy everything and make a mess around you, which we're living in that right now.
Oh yeah.
Also, it's like we're shooting it weird like a dream, and then it turned into like Isaac was like, we have these baby masks, and Isaac was showing me this real freaky, weird kind of off-putting dance of him in the baby mask. Yeah, it's scary even on my phone. At the studio, and I was like, okay, I guess we should do that. He's like, it should be adults. And then Isaac's actually a huge fan of vacuum cleaners. He loves vacuum cleaners. He's got really expensive vacuum cleaners. He's got really fancy vacuum cleaners. He's got old vacuum cleaners. He's got Roombas. The man loves a good vacuum.
I love vacuum cleaners.
And she
too.
loves
I
vacuums.
don't know why. I'm obsessed with them.
They talk about vacuums a lot, but Isaac loves a vacuum cleaner, and he knows the history of vacuum cleaners.
That's wild.
I don't know why, but he loves vacuums. He knows the history of the companies he's using. He loves vacuum cleaners. Loves them. And we were like, he wanted to do a Roomba in that instead, and then we were like, no, it kind of was one of those like, okay, should we do a Roomba? Should we do an old style vacuum cleaner? Should we do a new style vacuum cleaner? And I think he thought like maybe we were splitting hairs too much. It ended up being fun the way it was, but yeah, it was a mess. I know it was like they put the rug down, and it was like, I'm pretty sure there was residual coffee grounds and confetti in the float tinsel the entire time we were shooting.
Well, that was filmed before the bed scene.
Yeah.
So when I was doing the bed scene, every time I was getting into the bed, I had coffee grounds stuck to my feet.
Oh,
so
no.
uncomfortable. Yeah. So I kept trying to like dust my feet off, and I'm like, I'm gonna get all these sheets dirty. I don't want coffee grounds seen in the sheets.
We really planned it well. We did the vacuum cleaner thing first. So we filthied the entire float first. So anytime anyone barefooted walked on the float for the rest of the day, you were covered in confetti and coffee grounds.
Obviously, I wasn't going to wear shoes or socks into bed because it just wasn't practical.
Right.
So yeah, that we didn't really plan that out very well, but yeah, that's how it landed.
And speaking of dreams as well, I'm curious, what do y'all dream about when it comes to like reoccurring dreams that y'all experience, especially like before and after making this video? Have y'all's dreams changed?
I mean, I have weird dreams, but I'm sure everyone can sort of get behind, like if you have like a specific job or something that's like taking over your mental space quite a bit, or something that's stressful, you start to have like these like work nightmares. I don't know if, I'm sure people are like, I've always had like set work nightmares, and like there's definitely been like, while I was making this music video, it was like work nightmares about like, oh, we don't have this, or we don't have this, this didn't work, or whatever it was. So yeah, I think, but I wouldn't say, no, I don't think so. But I definitely had work nightmares about this, just because it was like all encompassing in my brain for
a while.
So I was like
this was it.
Yeah, I was
a lot of editing, a lot of time, a lot of planning. It was crazy. It took a
So there was definitely some work nightmares. Those have subsided a little bit, I would say, but yeah, it was definitely like I wouldn't say this brought me any fun dreams necessarily, but
hopefully after the fact.
Yeah, it's better. I'm feeling better now that it's released. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there was definitely like the stress of it was like, oh, okay, but yeah, it's definitely bleeding into the dream world. But
yeah, I think the song being called "Life's a Nightmare" might be a little bit less fun. Another part I really like is the microwave Fibonacci sequence that pops up.
Okay.
What's going on there? It's a perfect rotation.
So we had a whole vignette written about like just mundane things, you know what I mean? So mundane things set in like a weird dreamlike sequence. And one of the things we did was we just wanted someone staring at a microwave waiting for like their food to be cooked, and we shot it a certain way, and it just didn't work. And also the woman we used, she was great, but she was tall, or like she was like too tall, so she couldn't like lean in and see the microwave, so it just ended up looking weird. So we cut a lot of that stuff out, but we still wanted to use like parts of the microwave we filmed, just because it was a microwave is a very mundane thing that I think a lot of people use. And we had like laced in the microwave thing, cut it in, and then one of the notes we got from like Isaac was like, it doesn't look like the way we have it laid in doesn't look, it's not spaced out well.
Right.
So it was sort of like a smart ass remark to it. Was like, we were like, no, it is actually laid out perfect, and here's why. And we laid the Fibonacci sequence over it. And then like after a notes pass, when we fix things, we would show Isaac like, this is what we fixed, this was your note. And one of the things that we had in there was the Fibonacci sequence, and it was so funny. We were like laughing about it so much that we were like, we should leave it in. And so I don't know, I think it's one of those things like fans might be like, oh, what are they trying to say there? But in reality, it's just,
what is the meaning to
it's
this?
a really smart ass remark to a note going, no, see, it is actually, it is actually laid out beautifully, because it runs along the Fibonacci, even though it doesn't. but we left it in. We all kind of got a kick out of it. That's why the Fibonacci sequence is in there with the microwave.
It works
It
really
was a joke.
well.
With
It was
the
a
music
joke
video.
that turned out to be funny, and it worked. Now when I see it, I kind of laugh because I'm like, okay, we left it in there. It's a lot less artistic than it seems, but yeah.
I like it a lot. In analyzing the lyrics with y'all for a second, because right before this, "Never when you sleep are you alone" is chanted by the band. What does this lyric mean to y'all?
Um, the way I interpret the song is like, I feel like to me it's like when you're awake and living is when you're actually is just essentially like when it comes down to it, it's all sort of a dream, and then death is sort of actually sleep, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and then all that, I don't know. There's like another layer of it where it's like a lot of times in life, like because things become so mundane, and then sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. It's like sometimes the line between dream and awake do become crossed. So the whenever you're asleep, or sorry, the lyric, I'm like confusing myself now. um, like never when you're asleep are you alone. Yeah, to me it meant like, you know life in fact being a dream, like, yeah, you're not alone in the dream. You're around your friends, your family, everybody, and the sleep is actually the actual sleep, and not dreaming is the finality of it. But um Isaac has sort of explained to me what the song meant, like literally to him, but I
Mm-hmm.
I
It's a
think he'd be pretty
secret.
mad at me if I gave up what he meant by it, because I think the fun of it for him is that anybody can interpret it any way at any time, and
Mm-hmm.
you might interpret it differently now than 5 years from now or whatever. So,
Absolutely.
um,
Um,
and that's why I was kind of like, I didn't want to throw my too much of my interpretation of it into like the video, and I wanted to take more of Isaac's ideas, because I feel like his ideas were closer to like, if you can interpret what you see on screen in some way, then you might be able to interpret what you think the song is about, according to him. But
right.
uh,
One of the interpretations I had, the bride with the ice block wedding cake, is the
uh
first shot that she appears in is her, like, the top half and then the legs of the workers, and then it switches over to the workers and the bride's legs with the ice block wedding cake. It kind of like gave this like metaphor to me of like someone being married to their job, and like she's alone in this
yeah,
vignette,
yeah,
separate from the worker. Is this kind of like a um,
that's how I interpreted it.
mhm,
I didn't really like when he started wanting to, because those edits were like things he wanted to do
mhm,
specifically, and that was like my interpretation of it. I didn't really go like, what do you mean by this?
mhm,
Because I think maybe at the time he was already annoyed with me, and I know that question would have annoyed me. So I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna do the note he wants, and that's what I think this means. But it was like the ice block. That was another thing where it was like day of. He was like, he woke up and was like, we need to get ice, because I want to put an ice block. And I think his interpretation was the ice block was the groom. Um,
oh,
Yeah.
oh, he
because
melts
initially
away.
the ice block was pretty low. It was pretty low, and then he was like, it needs to be taller. It needs to be taller. And then at one point, the ice block ended up looking like a dick. Um, so we had to take the top off because it looked very
Well, because
phallic.
of the way we
Well, they
had
had
to
two ice blocks
position
at the
it so it
bottom
wouldn't
for the
fall.
balls, and then the way we positioned it, and we were like, "This looks phallic," and everybody was kind of like, "Yeah, I think it does."
Definitely would be a
So we,
husband in that case.
yeah, so we changed it, but the literal interpretation was like, "This is her groom, and she's standing here." And we did a bunch of takes where she went from like crying hysterically to laughing hysterically, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just stuff that didn't quite work,
Yeah.
um, and then it was, this giant heavy block of ice sitting right next to her. We were worried it was going to fall over and hit her maybe, or like what, like, so it was like, but my interpretation of it was, yeah, like the half and half, so like you may be married to your job, or you do this till you die type thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, it was a lot of the edit, like a lot of the theme to me started becoming clear as we were editing, and he was telling me, no, 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 it has to be like this, it has to be like this, where I was starting to make more sense to me. Where okay, this is the direction he was going, because even if he explains to you what he wants to do, you
Mm-hmm.
only like sort of half understand it, and then it becomes more and more clear as you kind of suss it out with him, because he's not the greatest at like explaining his train of thought, and it's in the same way that his music is like he's not great at explaining what his songs mean. The same can be said for like when you're working collaboratively with him, where you're like, okay, he told me what he wants, but I have no fucking idea why he wants it that way or what that means. And then it like, yeah, a lot of it was like it became clear to me later, or like where I was like, oh, okay, this is what he was trying to do, or oh, this is what he's trying to do, whereas before maybe I didn't get it, or maybe he didn't explain it well enough, or maybe he didn't care to explain it well enough. It was more like, just do this and then it'll make sense. And it was, yeah, I found that to be true, where it was like a lot of the stuff he was doing was making sense later on.
Right. Speaking of an idea that was Isaac's or not, a pizza dough mask, the nose mask pizza dough Isaac. Some of that got cut from the video, but I saw it in the behind the scenes.
Correct.
What was the story behind that? It looked very sticky.
So it was, and you know, we had a certain amount of vignettes that we had kind of gotten approved and shown management, and they're like, okay, good, or Isaac liked it, and then we had vignettes that we had written or that Isaac had written that like day of or day before. He's like, I hate it, don't want to do it anymore. So that wasn't a vignette that we had kind of come up with there. He had come up with like, you know, the day before, and it was like, he has this giant cement mixer, and we're just gonna make a ton of dough in this giant
like
cement mixer.
Buckets of
yeah, the amount of dough you guys saw in the video was
not
10% of what was made.
I think he originally wanted to like sit in dough or something.
He wanted to sit in it, and then he wanted a bunch of people working on it, and then progressively they're getting more and more stuck into it. And then the reality of the situation came about where he started sticking his arms in it when we were outside, and then he was realizing, oh, this isn't coming off of me. And he's like, oh, I'll just take my, I'll just be in my underwear and get in the dough. And I'm like, dude, we are going to have to hose you down. Like, there's no way we're going to get all of this dough off of your body if you get covered in it. Like, it's going to take hours to get it. And I think the reality of it came crashing in where it was like, oh, this is going to be a problem.
Yeah, it was just messier than it needed to be.
If we cover you in this dough, like we might have to like call an ambulance to get you out of this dough type of thing. So it was like, we did do the dough stuff with like multiple people working on it. We shot it and it was really hectic. So I didn't shoot a ton of it like on a tripod. I did shoot some on the tripod, but then I also just went handheld and shot a bunch of it. Because it was chaotic and like it was so sticky, like the table was coming up
table was moving
as he was moving it. And we had a bunch of good footage, and then when he saw it, he just didn't. I don't think it looked or came off the way he imagined it.
Right.
Like in his head, I think he had a much different idea, and it was one of those like we did it at the end of the day, quick, as like the last vignette we were shooting. And I just don't think we had the time. I don't think he initially explained what he was like envisioning very well. It was all that one was very quick. We had made the dough and stuff, but it was just like, and we did. I liked the footage we got. I liked what we had, and I thought it was relevant and usable. But there was just parts of it like we did use some of it. There was a lot more in like the original like edits, and he just didn't like it. So,
I think all of that footage alone would be enough for its own video.
Yeah, it was really interesting. But him like learning real time like how sticky that dough actually was interesting, because he like put his arms in it and he was like, he pulled his arms out and was trying to take the bits of dough off, and I was like, that ain't coming off, dude. I'm like, I'm like, if you take your shirt off or like get in your underwear and get in that dough, we're gonna have to like, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a big problem. Like we're gonna have a hard time getting it off of you.
That's an
because he was willing to go all in on it, like and like cover himself in it, and like being buried in the sand at a beach style. And I was like, that's not a good idea, man. Like we're gonna have like you're gonna be pulling dough off of your body hair for the next month and a half if you do that. So we should rethink that idea a little bit. And yeah, we ended up doing that, but I think it worked, and it came out like what we had. I liked. He didn't like some of the stuff in the edit, so we pulled it out. But yeah, there was more of it for sure.
Brilliant. I'm so curious what else was cut. Knowing this was such a big part that ultimately didn't make it in.
There were some vignettes that we had ideas for that we had started building. Like there was one that involved like humans in a giant bird nest.
Whoa.
And
bird
we
nest.
had started making the bird nest, and it was cool, and because there was tons of just big branches and sticks around. But by the time we had gotten to it, it was just one of those like Isaac's one of those. Isaac's definitely the kind of person that like every idea he has, he says it, and then by the time you get to it, he's like, "What? That's a horrible idea," and we're like, "No, that was your idea, bud." Um, and but like sometimes that works. Some like there was a few times where he's like, "I don't like this idea." I'm like, "Well, it was your idea, and we're set up for it, so let's shoot it." And then it ended up working, and he did like it. Um, so it's like you can't really ever. It's just one of those like you get a lot of good ideas from him, but then he ends up hating an idea and not wanting to do it. And the bird nest thing was one of them, I think, and um, it just and also our ability to shoot vignettes was like we didn't want to take it off of the parade float because then like thematically it wouldn't have really worked, and just some of it didn't work for being on the parade float, so it was just
Right.
like it was just tricky. Some of it was really tricky to shoot, like on that projector screen with like the footage rolling, and there was just some stuff was just doable. Some stuff was like we could have done it, but it would have taken way too much time, and then we would have eaten into, like other stuff that we knew we wanted to shoot for sure, or that would have worked for sure, and we didn't want to lose that. So you just kind of have to prioritize. So yeah, that was one thing that got cut. There was some other vignettes like that we had written that we ended up just abandoning and not doing.
Did Simon's stuff make it in?
Simon, like
on the trampoline.
No,
I
we
don't
didn't.
think
We
did
shot
that
like
shot.
Simon in the trampoline, like we did Rex
Cool.
in like this red shirt, and then we did a couple of different things of Simon out in the woods and stuff. But a lot of it was like it was in the original cut and it looked good, but there was other stuff that were like non-negotiables that he wanted in, like thematically, that like you just have to lose stuff at a certain point. Like when you're shooting, you're like hoping you have enough to fill 5 minutes and 30 seconds,
Right.
and then you can do an edit where you actually shot enough, and then you have to then you get to the point where you're like, okay, now we have to start cutting stuff.
I'm really glad y'all got footage of the band in with this one. From what I remember you talking about, this was one of their first times performing this song live, right?
Right. Yeah, right.
That's
correct. Well, they hadn't learned it to play live, like for on tour. Like they hadn't learned it because they learned their parts and recorded the album X amount of time before, and it's like, and then playing it live together is like a whole different ball game. So like all those songs they have to learn to translate from album to live, and that was one that they had. Like when the morning we shot the performance stuff was day one of their rehearsals for all the new material. So none of those songs they had played live together before. And they all knew their parts and like or specific parts of the song, obviously, but it hadn't been played as like one cohesive like performance as like a group. So I think that they were a little nervous doing that, and but it's all very cheatable where it's like you can shoot it piece by piece. Like I was doing passes where I was focusing on Isaac singing, or like we took the front three out and I only shot the three guys, like the percussion and Keith in the back. So when I was shooting the drummers and Keith and stuff, like the other dudes weren't even on stage. I was shooting from where they were playing in that part, and then I was doing wide pass, and I think all in all we did like 8 passes of it in different durations of just playback. So large speakers playing the song and they were playing to it. So it's all pretty cheatable where it's like Russell knows his parts, Simon knows his parts, Damon and Benny know their percussion parts, Isaac knows his parts, and you can kind of shoot those segmented, and you can shoot it in like wides and stuff, and you can cut around stuff too where it's like if Isaac goes one measure longer on the chorus because he forgot that the chorus is the X amount, then it's like you can just cut around that. It's not a big deal.
Right.
So like the parts you see Isaac singing, maybe necessarily like the way we record them weren't in order. Like we just had him singing the end part of the chorus, and we put that in the beginning because the shot was good or whatever. It's all very moldable. So I think we went through it like 8 times from start to finish, and I was just essentially you're fishing. You're like, okay, I'm going to do a set on a tripod where I'm just panning around finding stuff, or I'll put it on the slider dolly and try and find good moves because I know the song so well now that it's like I know when this part's coming and I want to get a specific shot of this part. and then it's like, okay, now I owe like, you know, tights of maybe Simon playing certain guitar parts, or you know, like a two shot of Damon and Benny playing a certain drum part, or like a synth heavy part where I have a shot of, you know, Keith playing a specific part, or Russell playing a part, or them doing the backing vocals. You want to get shots of that way.
Oh yeah.
And one thing Isaac didn't want to do was saturate the video with too much performance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's one of those things like you get the performance and you lay that down as like your foundation for the whole track, and then you start editing on top of that. So you essentially like find the performance parts you like and start editing around that. So you start stacking things on top of the performance is what we did.
I really like the shots of Benny in this video, considering he's a notorious napper of the crew.
Oh yeah, like
there are a few Instagram stories and whatnot of him taking a nap, but the first time I met him, he was just like, "I will interview you, but first I must sleep."
Benny's cool, man. He's like,
he was so sweet. He was very funny,
and he just had a huge part in the band for a long time. Like a
yeah.
huge part of the Moon in Antarctica being made, and probably a lot more so involved in the band and their albums and stuff than like maybe less informed fan would know. And so yeah, and it's just, he's a nice guy. I think everybody enjoys watching him live when you go to the shows and you see how focused and dialed in he is, like playing all these like weird things and like hitting a bucket or you know, whatever it is, like all the things he has. And it's fun to watch him dig around the studio looking for things that make certain noises that he can play in the performance and trying it out. So yeah, and he's just a fun guy to talk to and hang with, and yeah, just a nice guy. So yeah, I was trying to get as many cool Benny shots as I could possibly get, which is pretty easy. Yeah, and
he's always
I
so
knew
dynamic.
all the parts.
He always like gives you something, like just from looking at him, he's doing something really cool.
Yeah, he just focused in, so it's fun to shoot him. And yeah, I think Isaac was pleased every time Benny was on screen too, where it was like if Isaac saw himself on screen too much, he was not pleased, or if he saw too many shots of Rex or too many shots of this or that, he was like, okay, let's do less of that. But that was never really a no for Benny. It was always like, yeah, okay, I like that. We should keep that. Or
we got to make the Benny music video one day.
Yeah. So he was all about the Benny footage, and so were we. So I was glad to incorporate it and get like some of the cooler Benny moments from the song where you can clearly hear Benny's contribution to it in there and stuff. So yeah, that's what I definitely tried to do that for sure.
Very beautifully mixed together. And as well, I was wondering, now that you've done a Modest Mouse music video, what other Modest Mouse music videos are you a fan of, or did you have any point of reference when watching or making this one?
I've seen them all, and I like things like Lampshades on Fire or like World at Large and all that stuff, where, or even like Float On. It was just like they all have like a feel to them, where it's like I didn't want to like replicate the feel, but I wanted, like, if you're a fan, it's like undeniably when you see a Modest Mouse video, you're like, oh, this is a Modest Mouse music video, and that was kind of the goal. Where it was like, I like those early 2000s videos, or like, or what's another one? The one
Dashboard.
There's a couple of them. The Dashboard one's really kind of like a studio video, like very polished and stuff. And Isaac is very much like, he doesn't want it to be linear or story based or like following a storyline. Like, he doesn't like that. That was like one of the main things starting, where he was like, that's not what I want. I want it to feel more like a video than be like a video you can follow the storyline for. So that's kind of was my goal. And like looking at stuff like, you know, yeah, like Lampshades on Fire, or what's the one that like dressed up like a king, or
The Ground Walks with Time in a Box.
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
Or The World at Large with the animals, or like or The Ocean Breeze Salty, where it's like it's like undeniably a Modest Mouse music video. So I mean, that was sort of the goal, where it was like you wanted to feel like it, where like old fans can look at it and go like, oh yeah, this feels like a music video I watched 20 years ago, or that was made 20 years ago.
That's what I was saying. For me, it's like I was watching this video. It's like back in the day when you'd spend all day watching MTV music videos. You know, it just kind of gave that vibe.
I didn't want to like lift like replicate it exactly, but I wanted it to be new. We wanted it to be new, but also just feel that way too. So that was kind of the goal, and it was I wasn't trying to control it, like take it to a certain place and anywhere, but other than just like try to understand it less and just feel it more. Where it was like this is it feels like the song, it feels like the album, it feels like the band, um, it feels like Isaac's ideas because I wasn't trying to like push my ideas or things that maybe I thought would be good in the video too hard because it was like with Isaac, it's like if you're gonna direct Isaac to go in and try and control him and like create a narrative, like you're not gonna have a good time
Right.
because like you're the best thing you can do is to take his ideas and a try to figure them out
Mm-hmm.
and make sense of them, but also translate them to like an image because I mean, even if you don't necessarily understand it at first or even agree with some of it, like it all becomes pretty clear at the end. It's like none of it like very little of it makes entire sense right away, and it's kind of like you have to like mine at the idea out of his brain a little bit, and then it becomes more and more clear
Right.
uh, as you work on it or as you see it. So that yeah, that was kind of my train of thought going in. It was like don't try and direct him and control him in any way because then it's just not he's not going to be happy with the video or you might not be happy with the video. It's just not like why even try and do it that way. So yeah, that's but thematically I feel like yeah that the old videos definitely played a big part in like the how it felt to me for sure.
I think y'all made a very unique atmosphere with this video while staying true to Isaac's vision and the Modest Mouse style.
Yeah.
But speaking of directing music videos, is there any other songs with the Modest Mouse discography that you'd be wanting to work on if you had the ability to work on another one, past, present, or maybe future?
Old one. I think All Night Diner
Mm-hmm.
would be
Yeah.
what I'd want to do. It's kind of a funny song, like a jokey song at parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of their oldest songs. It's just like Modest Mouse. Like it's just a Modest Mouse song, like undeniably a Modest Mouse song. Um, so I think that one would be fun to do.
Absolutely. Another
That
funny
one.
one I think you'd be really good at is surfing your couch if that ever gets a music video.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good one. I mean, there's a lot of great like Too Many Fiestas for Ruben would be a
Mm-hmm.
wild music video to make. Like the upbeat ones are fun for sure. And then I mean, there's good slower songs too, but I don't feel like I'd be as good at like doing something like that. And some of them are just like so intense that, like, I like the fact that there's like zero music videos for the moon in Antarctica
Right.
because like I mean I read a thing Isaac said where it's like you start to really associate the music with the music video at a certain
Mm-hmm.
point. Um, like the float on video is like extremely tied to the song at this point now. I feel like because it's like you've seen the video tons, you've heard the song tons, and it's like those two sort of are like intertwined forever.
Mm.
Or there's just certain songs that shouldn't be intertwined with like a video,
Right.
like Life Like Weeds or things like. There's just certain yeah you just don't want to put an you don't want to put like an image like an associated image to certain songs,
Mm. I
or you
think
can't
right. I think
like they're
there's
on.
sometimes that you can't get the image out of your head and you just want to make some piece of art for it somehow, but it's not
Well,
the
yeah,
definition of it.
and also it's like some of it's like there you can make a music video for damn near any song, but it's
Mm-hmm.
about like how much time, money, resources you have to do it. It's like what's realistic and what's not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like some of these songs would require like world class visual effects that would cost millions of dollars and years to make or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Whereas like Life's a Dream's one that you can do practically and
Yeah.
shoot this, make this cool weird world practically and shoot it to camera practically and all that stuff. Whereas like yeah, there's certain things where it's like I feel like certain songs you could do it, but you need unlimited money, unlimited resources, unlimited time,
Mm-hmm.
and it would just like you would need like Steven Spielberg level effects and shit to like make the vision on par with the actual music, which is like that's why I feel like All Night Diner would be like a perfect one because you could probably do something practical. You could probably do something within
Mm-hmm.
reach. You could come up with some sort of concept that would be fun and entertaining and Modest Mouse. Whereas like a song like Willful Suspension of Disbelief, like I feel like you need some like seriously, like it's a song I love, but I would never want to attempt a video at it because of like the vibe of it, or like what you would need to accomplish it and like do the song justice, I guess is the
Mm.
would be the main would be the main concern in my brain.
In your brain, though, do you have like any sort of vision that you can sneak a peek into to tell us more about like how you imagine it to be?
Like which, like
With
what, like an all night dive?
willful suspension of disbelief. If it's something that only exists in
Oh,
your imagination, how can you interpret it to us here?
I don't. I feel like that one would be a great animated video where it's
Mm.
like it's very spacey. It's very, I, yeah, it's kind of a haunting song. The pace isn't super fast. It's kind of, it's also a dreamy song, but it's like,
Mm.
I just don't feel like you could do anything practically that would like do the song justice. It's just like there's so much cool. There's so many cool layers to the song, so many cool sounds and uses of, yeah, it's just too much. Like that's why I feel like anything on the Moon in Antarctica would be overwhelming because it's like the the amount of layers and effects and stuff that they did in that album is just like you could make a video for it, but you'd probably end up, no matter how good the video, you'd probably feel like
There's
the
something
song is like
missing.
here, video is here, yeah. So it's like I would assume Isaac probably would agree on that, where it's like there are things that are doable, there are things that are not doable. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's plenty of really amazing scripts that probably exist in the world for movies and TV shows that would make amazing movies and TV shows where it's just like it'd be fucking impossible to pull off. Like it would be, unless you had unlimited resource, unlimited budget, unlimited talent, unlimited all of that stuff, which is, 99.9% of people on the planet don't have those resources or access to those resources. So you
Mm.
see all these great short films, but that are written well, that are like, they write them and change them so that it's feasible, so they can do it on their budget, they can do it on their timeline, they can do it on the resources they have. Like same with this video, like it changed a lot from Isaac's original concept that he pitched me, because it was like his original concept was awesome,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a massive, it was like a Mount Everest to climb
Mm-hmm. And
compared to like shooting.
right, I don't want to talk about this too much if it gets like tricky or controversial to mention, but the Pick and Dragons Pockets music video,
Right.
I really love the practical effects that were present in the video. But
Yeah, a
something
lot of stop motion.
yeah, the stuff that you
Yeah.
mentioned on Ice Cream Party when we first talked about it, like after seeing it, is that like the big studios are working with like PlayStation 5 and everyone else is working with Atari over here. Like the technology
Yes.
like
Whether it
it's,
be
it's
AI, whether it
crazy.
be visual effects, like
Mm-hmm.
what we have or like what the average person has is like Atari. Yeah. And what they have is PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So it's like they're putting out things in AI that you'd never be able to tell were
Mm-hmm.
AI at this point. Whereas like if a person making a music video pays some money to do AI, it's going to be pretty obvious that it's AI, or it's
Yeah.
going to be pretty obvious that the digital effect you made by hand is going to be a lot shittier looking than something like, like something Steven Spielberg puts out. Like
Mm-hmm.
they have world class access to world class people and equipment and resources and money, where it's like, yeah, so it's like you have to be realistic in what you can do.
Right. Is if
Um,
Cypress Jones and y'all had some more time to work on that video, do you think there would have been like less generative AI used?
Yeah, for sure. There would have been less used. I mean, but like all the things with all the little puppets and stuff
Mm-hmm.
moving around, like he made all of those
Yeah.
puppets. Like all of those things, like they're around everywhere. And like
Yeah.
he did tons of, he's just such a creative dude where it's like he would go out and shoot things and like show you footage and you're like, how the fuck is this gonna work in a music video? It's like him hanging from a tree over
Mm-hmm.
a freaking river and he's just swinging his arms around and you're like, are you high? Like what do you talk, like why did you shoot this? And then he puts it in at a moment and you're like, fuck, that works.
Yeah.
Like it actually works.
The
Like,
cinematography and it's really fun.
and so he does shit where it's like stuff, like my brain doesn't work that way, where it's like he can go out and shoot something that seems so odd and so irrelevant and so like where you're just like, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. And then he puts it in at a certain point and uses it a certain way and
Mm-hmm.
throws color or like some sort of filter over it. And you're like, wow, that works. Or just like him moving magnets around on like a piece of paper like in the video, you're just like, the fuck is this? Like, why? What are you gonna use this for? And he puts it in, you're like, oh, it works. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just crazy. Like people that have that train of thought to me are like, it's like insane, or just like him building these massive sets and like just instead of doing stop motion of like the actual stuff, he's just stop motioning like parts he's working on moving around. And you're like, why would
Mm-hmm.
you spend all that time stop motioning that? And then he puts it in, you're like, oh shit, it works. Where
Mm.
it's just like, um, like his ability to take risks that way and like think of things like that, and then it actually work. You're just like, I don't, I don't understand it. It's just like, or just yeah, like half of those little puppets he used in there. It's just like the guy would just pick up a piece of freaking wood and just start like carving at it, and then like an hour later, it's like this weird puppet with like a sticky eyeball on its face, and you're like, where the hell did you come up with that, or how, like, or like just stuff like that, where you're just like, it's just really interesting.
Right.
Like a brain like that to me is really interesting, where it's like that's kind of how Isaac's is too, where it's like it
Right.
doesn't
Very
make
similar.
sense initially, and I think that's why those two guys get along well, is because like, but they also clash a lot in a way where it's like they do the same exact thing but they don't understand each other's ideas, and then they suss them out of it and show them, and they're like, oh, that is awesome. So it's like, um yeah, he's really interesting to me in that way, because it's like that's not how my brain works. I've worked on movies and TV shows long enough where it's like I have to think very rationally and like budget time and budget, like, okay, what's realistic, where like he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't think that way. If it's not realistic, it doesn't make sense for time, doesn't make sense for this, he doesn't give a shit. He's still going to try it, he's still going to do it, and by god, half the time, he more than half the time when he does it, it works, and you're just like, good for you, man. Because I it doesn't work that way for me. Like it's like I'm very like rational in that sense, where I'm like, if I don't think something's gonna work, then it's like, okay, if we don't want to waste time on it, let's do something that will work. Where he is not like that.
Mm.
He'll make the time, he'll work on it, or he'll do something that takes him 10 hours and then it doesn't work, and he's like,
Oh well.
oh well. Whereas I'm not like that, where I'm like, if I do something that takes 10 hours and it doesn't work, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, and then it's like, so yeah, I mean, a video like that needs like a year, and I know they went over like 3 months over the deadline to begin with, just putting stuff up. Or it's like, I, him building sets for like, there's a portion where there's like a girl hanging from like a harness, like
Right.
setting trees down and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the amount of work that went into that, it was like insane, man. And like, so yeah, it's and it was just, it's just so weird and obscure that it's just like, I would have never thought of something like that, or even thought that's worthwhile shooting, or that's worthwhile building that whole set, or that's worthwhile doing this, or lighting it or whatever. And he just vibrates on a different frequency, I think. And
I liked the video and I thought it was really creative. And I feel like if a lot of people knew how much time and
Mm-hmm.
creativity went into it, they would appreciate it a lot more because
Yeah.
it
I really
it
wish he had
takes a
more
lot.
time to like work on it
well,
to
and
have his
also
full vision realized.
I know for a fact that there were parts that like could have been done, that they were like, well, let's try and AI this and see if
Mm-hmm.
it looks bad, because I want to use it if it looks bad. Because I mean, if you listen to the song, it's kind of like the whole theme of the song is kind of like all this shit everybody else likes. Like, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be into it. You're not controlling me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna make you go crazy if I'm not into it. And there, I know there were a lot of creative choices where it's like, okay, well, let's use it here. Like, there was some purposeful use of it in
Mm-hmm.
certain points where it's um, like I know shit was put in there that they didn't like, and it was just like, it was one of those things. Like, I feel like it was like at a certain point an exercise in creativity, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I don't like this, but let's use it, and it sort of fits in with like what we're preaching in this song. We're like, this is bullshit, but let's use it for this. Let's put it here. And there was a lot of that kind of talk going on, where it was like, yeah,
Provoking.
it was provoking on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it was purposefully provoking, and there
Mm-hmm.
was thing, and so and like it was like, that's kind of the whole theme of that song, where
Right.
it's like, kind of like, fuck you, I don't like it, and kind of a thing where, um so yeah, I know there was lots of that, and
Mm-hmm.
And there, I mean, there were some effects that we used that were AI that it was essentially like it was stuff that we shot that just failed. Like we failed at shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
So like a good example of AI in the Life's a Dream would be when we were shooting the float driving around, and you see the ghosts on the side of the road.
Right.
Um, Whomever ordered the sheets, they weren't big enough, so you were seeing pant legs and feet
Oh.
under the sheets, so you could just see like jeans, and
Mm.
it looked weird, and like it looked like the ghosts weren't. It just looked like a dude with a sheet over his head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you like you take an AI tool and go, hey, remove the legs. Um, where it was like the shot, it was a practical shot,
Mm-hmm.
but you could see the legs, and it like we really wanted the shot in there, and there was just no fucking way to get rid of it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can rotoscope things, but it was like comes down to time and effort and money, and it was like there are AI tools or filters you can lay over where it's like, yeah, it will get rid of those legs, and you can have that 3 second shot of that ghost that you shot without, you know, like shin down of their blue jeans and freaking shoes hanging out. So
Makes sense that
yeah,
that would be used for that then.
yeah, it's more of a tool, less about generative, or like the
Mm-hmm.
ice falling over was an AI moment, whereas like the
Mm.
ice fell over, but it just a lot of times you shoot things and it's just underwhelming and it doesn't look like, and it's like we don't have pyrotechnic people to like load it with charges, and but then it's like you got to worry about ice flying and hitting people or hurting people or whatever. So it's like nothing we did was like it was nothing that we didn't shoot. Like it was stuff that we either shot and it failed, or it was like a post effect that we needed to like basically round a shot that already existed, like
Mm-hmm.
taking away legs or making ice explode when it fell over instead of just falling over and looking like shit.
Right. And
And it,
that's where
so
Cypress Jones's credit for the music video comes in, right? He was the one helping with
yes,
that.
Cypress and Cypress, like the background behind you right there, like the
Yeah.
person who made that, who made it by hand without AI, who like helped me round out the edges of all these little frames in there and stuff. Like a lot of that effect work was Cypress. Like Cypress sat there with me and helped me do a lot of like the like actual hand effect stuff that we were doing, which like he's very good at.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, he helped me with quite a bit of like the tedious effect stuff, especially as we were racing towards a deadline, because we ended up jumping one deadline and then had a hard deadline for the next one, and it was one of those like, okay, I need someone to help me that knows how to do these effects in Premiere, or can help me get rid of these legs, or
Mm-hmm.
help me make this ice falling, which was like a really important element to Isaac in the video, like look not look super lame, and so take stuff we actually shot practically, and yeah, make it better, because no, the ghost didn't work when there were pant legs hanging out or stuff like that. So yeah, getting rid of stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
it was very helpful. But yeah, it wasn't any, we didn't like generate anything that didn't exist.
Right.
It was stuff we either shot and needed fixed, or stuff we shot that we failed at shooting. um, but yeah, especially with the effects and a lot of the stuff, like Cypress helped with a lot of like the actual like effects and cuts and stuff like that within the music video that we did practically, even in the post side. So
Very cool.
um yeah, like he's just a talented dude. Yeah, the stuff he does, like it's it was cool for me to have someone that thought that way helping me on the back end, just because it was like, yeah, his train of thought is entirely different than mine, and something that he explains to me that I might go, that sounds like it would be dumb or not work, then he does it and you're like, oh shit, that's awesome. um so yeah, it was cool to like, it was cool to have help in that way, where it was like just having another set of eyes or another skill set, somebody that knew how to lay down effects better, or like, yeah, all of that stuff. And I mean, my post production skills are pretty limited to like, I can lay an edit out, and I can color correct. Like I did all the color correction and stuff for the video, because I wanted it to feel a certain way, because color really can change the way a video feels. Like if I would have color corrected that differently, that video could have felt entirely different
Mm.
as like what we put out. So I took a lot of time like making the color right, or making, really working on like the performance part of the band, like making the color look nice, and as much as I could. So yeah, that was definitely kind of the use of all of that, and like the AI tools for us was more like, let's fix something that exists so that we
Right.
can keep on the theme that Isaac wants, or execute a specific shot that Isaac wants, or yeah. So like having sheets too short, there's not shit you can do about that. But you have all this footage, and you spent 8 hours doing it. So if I can have some computer remove those legs for me, and then my shot looks like I intended it to look, awesome. Like there it is. The shots exist now, and it's based on a real shot that exists. It's just the legs are gone or whatever, something like that.
Right. I'm really glad you got to speak on that. A lot of people were curious, and I'm glad we've
Yeah.
cleared the air about some of that. As well, since we've talked about a few of the people that have worked behind the scenes, would y'all like to give any other special shout outs to anyone who worked on this video with y'all?
Oh man, I mean, there were so many people that, I mean,
Just
that,
it was just so just great working with everyone. It was really joyful. Like I've worked on a lot of sets, and he's obviously worked on sets where it's just like chaotic, or there's just someone making things difficult. But everyone was really a joy to just be around and work
yeah,
with.
it was just collaborative. It was just fun. It was one of those, like, we had a plan for certain things and we didn't have a plan for other things, and like it didn't matter who the idea came from. Like if it was a good idea, we would try it, and some of that stuff made it in. Like where it was like you don't have to be the director to go, hey, this would be cool. Let's shoot this. Like you could just be someone there hanging out, helping, and go, hey, this would be cool. And if we like it, then we try it, and it works, and it's in the video. So, um,
Yeah, all the extras were awesome. Everyone was very nice,
yeah,
very helpful. The art team was really cool.
Mm.
All the camera people, just everyone, the band, everyone was very awesome to
yeah,
work with.
it was cool, and it didn't really feel like there were any people there that like weren't like, either fans currently of the band or have been fans of the band, which is cool because it's like everybody sort of knows what you're going for at that point. Like, so they, yeah, and so it's nice to like have everybody looking at it through the lens of like, okay, this is a Modest Mouse music video, so this would work or this wouldn't work, and it's, yeah, when you can like delete the ego from it,
Mm-hmm.
and like me and Chris Rab kind of co-directed, and Isaac was obviously helping direct certain things and stuff, and well, there's like no ego involved in it, where it's like, okay, your idea is better than my idea, so let's do your idea, um,
Wonderful.
type stuff. Like that's always the most fun, or like when you're making stuff up and it works, and you're
Mm.
just cracking jokes, or I was telling him about how me and Rab joke around and how it drives everybody nuts, but me and Rab love it so much, and
They were ridiculous.
And for the
Yeah.
gearheads out there, what was the specific cameras that were shot to make this music video?
the main camera we used was the Alexa Mini, Area Alexa Mini LF, which is the large format Alexa Mini, which is really nice. It has tons of dynamic range for stops, so you can shoot in almost any lighting scenario. And then some lenses I had used working on Yellowstone were um, zooms. I wanted to. I mean, obviously primes. Obviously, they look really nice, but like
Mm-hmm.
for our time frame, what we had, it was just like changing. A prime is just a lens that you can't zoom. It's like a fixed focal point. So if you're at 35 millimeters, that's all that prime can do. And if you want to shoot 50 millimeters, you got to change the lens and all that. And so that can take a lot of time. And for like the time frame we had, it was just like I needed zooms, I needed large format full frame zooms, and I needed them to look really pretty. So a lens I had worked with was they were the Fuji. They're called Premistas, and they're beautiful zoom lenses. They're really big, girthy, giant zooms.
Oh wow.
Um, and we had range from like 24 millimeters all the way through like 200 millimeters on two different lenses. So it was a lot easier to go from 24 millimeters on a wide to like, oh, let me show you a 75 millimeter shot. So instead of having to change the lens and see how it looks and all that stuff, I was able to just zoom in, and we were able to just keep moving. So, I mean, typically primes, you have really good depth of field on those, but these premises are like, I, I think I want to say they retail for like between 60 and 80,000 a piece, and so we had two of them rented that we were putting on that camera body, and they're just beautiful lenses. They're just like super versatile, super fast lenses. They look really really nice, and it saved us a ton of time on just the behind the scenes portion of it, like not having to change lenses all day and reset up our follow focus, reset up our matte boxes. It was just like this I can work on this lens for 3 hours without having to stop, and it looks if as good as, if not, better than some, prime lens setups. So we use those pretty heavily, and we were going between using a Dana dolly for movement shots and tripod for lock off shots, and I was doing a lot of handheld on it. And then we used some DJI equipment, like we used
The
uh,
drone.
Sony FX3 on the stabilizer, like for like some moving shots, and we used the drone, a DJI drone, and then we had a C300 Mark II doing a lot of like the B shots and the B roll shots and stuff like that on some like longer lenses. And then you even see some iPhone stuff in there. Like Isaac
Wow.
shot some of that motorcycle stuff on iPhone. The background of the parade float,
Mm-hmm.
that running video that we had going, that's all iPhone. It's just
Wow.
out the window of a car driving around on iPhone, and I edited a loop and put a little color to it, and that's what we had shot it on a Sony FX9, which is a really nice camera on a really nice lens, and the iPhone stuff just felt better. Uh, so yeah, we had a nice camera for that background footage and had the footage, but the iPhone stuff just felt more along the lines of like what we were trying to do with that projector. So that's what we used.
I used to work for
Um,
Apple, and it felt like I was working for a camera company sometimes and a music company
yeah,
the other.
yeah. I mean, the cameras are crazy now, especially
Mm-hmm.
the pro cam, like the 16 and 17 Pros. It's like the stuff you can do with those are pretty amazing. So yeah, like you see, yeah, all the way from iPhone through Arri Alexa Mini LF, you are
Wow.
all mixed in different parts of it. So
And do
yeah.
you have any tips or advice for up and coming photographers or filmographers?
Um, f- First, be careful what you wish for because you might get it. Um, because
Mm-hmm.
for better or worse, I've had a career where it's like I've gotten to do a lot, pretty much a large portion of all the stuff I dreamed about doing, and some of it's great, and some of it's not great. But it's also just like be persistent and like always be making something. Like even if you're not like working on like a proper commercial or TV show or movie or music video or something where it's like you're on payroll and getting paid, like don't let the logistics of all that stuff like sort of bog you down. And like if you feel like you want to create something even if it's for no reason. Just like it's always good to just keep shooting stuff and making stuff and shooting photos or shooting video or whatever it is. It's like, and just persistence where it's like this video wouldn't have happened if I wasn't persistent about it. Like because there was a few times where like it just seemed like the video wasn't going to happen, like based on time or money or schedule or logistics, and just persistence where it's like, no, we can do it. Let's just do it this way. No, we let's just do it this way or this way. And in the end, we ended up like, I mean, for how busy Isaac was, I think there was many times where it was like if somebody wouldn't have been being persistent to him about it, it just wouldn't have happened.
Hmm.
There just wouldn't have been, or maybe not in the form that it is. If so, it just yeah, be persistent about what you want because it's like you may just get what you want. It's
Excellent.
like, and it's like you don't need to go to film school if you don't want. Just just start being a production assistant in any way, shape, or form on any productions and start just working your ass off. Like it's there were times I was working 7 days a week for weeks and weeks and weeks straight
Mm-hmm.
without stopping, 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day, traveling for months and weeks and years. And so it's like it's a specific lifestyle, and it's you.
Yeah, obviously I'm not the camera person here, but being married to one, like, just know too, it's not all glamorous,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of sacrifice you have to
Yeah,
really give in order to get where you want to go. So
you have to really want to do it. If you halfway want to do it, don't do it. Don't do it. If you really want to do it and it's like calling to you to do, then do it. Otherwise, don't do it.
Everything's
If you only
impossible
sort of
if
want,
you don't even try to try.
yeah, you have to. If you really have the drive to do it, because it's possible. Yeah, for sure.
Dreaming of impossible some days, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
been
possible.
really nice talking to y'all. I have a
Yeah.
lot to work with here. We've
Yeah,
got
good.
2 hours almost on this, so I'm
Yeah, we're at 2 hours and 5 minutes.
wow. I'm thrilled
Yeah.
to be able to present all this behind the scenes perspective from y'all on this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for y'all's time,
Thank you.
Mychal and Zach. Do you have any shout outs outside of the work y'all did on this music video? Want to plug anything before you go?
Check out our animal page.
Yeah, Animal People AZ. We're going to be in the middle of trying to get a little bigger and move our facility, and
Yeah, we're expanding. The Instagram is animal_people AZ.
I'm making
On Instagram
capybaras
and
right now.
TikTok. Yeah,
Aw.
we do tons of
Yeah.
animal work. So it's really fun and a lot of work, especially for her. She's around the clock doing that stuff. So
Wow.
It's just a passion and a dream to just be educational with animals. So
Thanks
just
for
that,
being a
and
science communicator.
thank you.
Mhm.
And thanks to Isaac and his hospitality of hosting us all and doing this music video. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, it was fun. It was fun to be given the chance and given the trust to do it, and getting to, live at his house for short bursts and get to know him and everybody involved and all the people that work for Ice Cream Party and Modest Mouse. Like all those guys are and gals are awesome, and yeah, it's just a really cool group of people, and everybody at Ice Cream Party and all that stuff. I'm glad everybody there's that community and stuff, and everybody enjoys it and gets to enjoy the music and the music videos and all that stuff. So yeah, it's cool. It's fun. I'm glad we can help contribute to it in a small way.
Well, I can't wait to see the next music video for Modest Mouse you work on, Zach. And thank y'all
Well,
both
we'll
so
see.
much. Yeah, I'm crossing my fingers considering this one
Yeah.
turned out so well.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Yes. See you next
But-
time.
It was
All right.
nice meeting you.
Likewise.
I'll send you that
one of these shows. Psychic
yeah.
Salamander 2.
Yeah, that would be cool. Viagra boys are going to be there, I hope. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, that'd be sick. But all right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this or listening to the Lonesome Crowded Cast. Be well and be kind. I will talk to you on the flippy flip. See you next time.